Hey everybody, it's me, Greg Manarino, back again, early actually, for my market wrap-up for today, Friday, January 5th, 2018. The stock market is actually open, and it will be for roughly another hour and a half from the time I'm actually recording this episode. The reason why I'm getting it out early is because nothing is going to change in the next hour and a half here. And let me put a perspective on what's going on, where it's going, how you can capitalize on this, and what you should be looking at. It's so simple. First of all, again, market is still open, and as I am doing this, stocks are vaulting higher yet again. Another record. This market's going to close at another record. There's no way this is going to reverse in the next hour and a half unless some black swan event occurs in the next 90 minutes. I doubt that's going to happen, honestly. And this people, who has been telling you that this is going to continue? Well, maybe me. And that's exactly what is going to happen here. But we need to put a couple of other things into perspective. So, what do we know? We know that stocks are vaulting higher, on track yet again for another record high. Okay, the bond market. The bond market is bleeding right now. It's selling off. It did not recover today yet. But stocks are higher here because traders like myself, investors, realize, and you should realize it as well, that there is no way, no possible way, that the Federal Reserve is going to give up control of what's happening in the debt market, the bond market, one and the same. So what are they going to do? I don't know, maybe now, maybe Monday, they are going to start propping up that bond market to make sure that stocks continue this upward trajectory here. So I don't even, you know what, today I don't even care what the bond market is doing, because we've seen this without exception week after week after week after week for like months now, where they get in there and they start propping it up. They're going to do it again. There's no doubt in my mind whatsoever. In fact, I am so confident of that. I've posted, where are we here? It's backwards, right? No, right here. These are my current open trades, all right? I still hold calls on these things. In fact, I opened up a new position on Caterpillar about an hour ago, and I posted it on my social networks. If you want to follow my trades in real time, just follow me on Twitter. It's that simple. Bam, bam, bam. I'll just tweet it so you can follow along with me. If I make changes, if I sell, if I buy, I'm going to put it there. I'm also holding Kinder Morgan, KMI, stock, not a trade. And I'm in that for the longer run here, because again, all of this is going to melt up, and they're going to make sure that's what happens. Again, barring, I don't know. I don't even know what could get in the way of this market right now, because it's being supported by the Federal Reserve, who will not allow the bond market to do what it's supposed to do. As a matter of fact, the only job of all of these markets, and I don't care what you want to look at, they have one job. You know what it is if you follow this blog: to determine fair value. This is not being allowed to happen. When world central banks take the largest part of the market, the debt market, artificially suppress interest rates for now a decade, you get distortions. And that's what we're seeing here, despite what came out of the mouth of the Federal freaking Reserve, which I want to talk about in a second more, Wednesday, where they're concerned about stock market valuations. Really? Where they're concerned about the yield curve flattening. Really? Are they really that concerned about that? No, absolutely not. Because they do not have your interest in mind. Absolutely not. They are, the Federal Reserve only cares about how this is going to affect the banks and the richest of the rich. That's it. The rest of us, they don't care what happens to us. We're greasing the wheels with our blood and guts, being sent off to war and everything else to, just to keep the machine moving. You know that. Now let's talk about the Federal Reserve real quick and why stocks are melting up today. Again, despite the fact of what's happening to the bond market today. So we got a really weak jobs number today. We got a weak jobs number today. You would imagine that in a real market, well, what would happen? That would affect stocks negatively, right? No, not in this environment. Because why? It realizes that the Fed is going to keep the juice running, propping up that bond market even further. Now, we also heard from, oh my goodness, Philadelphia Fed President Hawker. Anyway, this guy, Patrick Hawker, I think that's his name. Anyway, this guy comes out today saying, oh, well, you know, the Federal Reserve really may only raise interest rates twice next year. Then they're talking about the federal funds rate, the short end of the curve, not the long end of the curve, which continues to flatten out here. So look, there's the confusion here. You've got a bad jobs number that comes out today. Oh, market loves that because it realizes that the Fed is maybe, like I said like a week or two ago, maybe 3, maybe we'll get 1 hike next year. I almost even doubt that. Again, we're talking about the short end of the curve, which the Fed has pinned down. So if you were to look at the yield curve, it kind of gets sharp and then flattens out. That's because they're pinning down that short end of the curve. The long end of the curve, like I said in the video that I did earlier, they cannot normalize their abnormal balance sheet fast enough to stop this inversion unless something drastic happens and they want to melt down the stock market. They're not going to do that. They want this thing to melt up for now while everyone gets overly euphoric, and then bam, then they're going to give it to us all really good. And people are going to get fleeced. You like that? Fleeced. Yes, there is something wrong with me. All right, so that's the situation here, people. At least for the time being, there's nothing standing in the way of this market now. Nothing at all. It's going to melt up unless or until something acts against it. And what can that possibly be? I have no idea. Because no matter what, the market realizes that Federal Reserve is going to support it. President Trump is going to make sure that stocks move higher. Now he's talking about Dow 30,000. Do you think maybe he has a little inside information here? These companies are going to buy back their own stock. These companies are going to do things, whatever they got to do to prop up their prices while the Federal Reserve keeps the easy money going. Period. Just like I've been saying, they're going to inflate everything. The dollar is, look at the dollar today, can't recover. That's going to be the theme song moving into deeper into this year. There's no doubt about it. They're going to make sure stocks go higher by pushing the dollar lower, okay, more weaker dollars to buy everything, even shares of stock, and literally rig the bond market worse than it's already rigged. I mean, you know, this is just unbelievable. But there's going to be a price to pay for it. You know that. I know that. People at CNBC don't seem to know that. And but that's a whole other story. By the way, people, you're going to like this one. Sunday, the early Sunday release from your friend and mine, Greg Hunter, is going to feature me, and we're going to talk about all kinds of fun things. And I actually can't wait to do that interview. We're going to do it later on today because I'm ready to explode as it is, so I can only imagine what's going to come out of my mouth. So if you follow Greg Hunter's work, make sure you check it on Sunday. You're going to see me. One last thing, real quick. It seems that a lot of you were having a problem with my website. Greg, your charts aren't, I can't see your charts. They're not loading. They keep spinning. So I asked people to check it out for me. And basically everyone's saying the charts are loading fine. Some people say slower than others, but I don't think there's a problem here. If you do happen to visit my website where the bond market chart is and the Bitcoin chart is and all these charts which I set up for you, have a look at it and just let me know if you're having a problem, because I don't know if people are yanking my chain or something, but it seems like, you know, most people by and large are not having any problem seeing those charts which I set up for you. So if you're having a problem with them, let me know, and I'll see what I can do about it. Anyway, all right, so I think we understand what's going on here. Look, it's Friday, and I'm happy it's Friday because I need a freaking break, I'll be honest with you. It's just been crazy. Everybody, have a great weekend, a safe weekend. Care for each other, love each other. I love all of you, and I will see you Monday. Actually, no, Sunday. You'll see me on Greg Hunter's show. Oh boy. That's it. See ya.